Hello to all of you, my lovely students in the 10th grade. How are you today? I hope you are doing well. Welcome back to my English lessons. It's me, your English teacher, Iman Jafari at Al Farouk Academy. In our lesson today, we are going to start with Unit 2 as I told you in our previous lesson. As I told you, the title of this unit is I am writing to say. So in this lesson, students should be able to recognize the type of the text, read the part or a part of the text and identify the main ideas, define the meanings of some words and phrases, answer some questions related to the text. Okay, so let's start with the type of the text. The type of the text that you are going to read, look at this picture and tell us what the type of the text. Excellent, it is a formal letter. In our previous lesson, I told you how can you write a formal letter. As I told you, on the top right, you are going to write your address, and on the top left, you are going to write the recipient's address. Under your address, you are going to write the date, and the recipient's address, you are going to start greeting with dear, sir, madam, Mr. or miss or professor. Then you are going to write your introduction. As I told you, in your introduction, you are going to state the main reason for writing the letter. In our lesson today, we are going to read a formal letter that was written by. Open your student book, page 18, and tell us who is the sender of this letter. The writer of this letter is excellent Natasha Sims. She sent this letter to excellent. The recipient of this letter is Professor Barnes. Okay. Why did she send the letter to Professor Barnes? This is what we know, what we are going to know in this letter. Okay. So let's start with the first two paragraphs that you have in your student book, page 18. The title of this letter is After the Art Day. So if you remember in Unit 1, we read about the festival that was organized by students. If you remember, Tasha Sims was the festival organizer. What about Professor Burns? What was his role in the previous festival? He was excellent. He was a guest who gave a long talk or a long speech about arts and archaeology. So why did Natasha send the letter to Professor Burns? We are going to read, okay? So notice here, on the top right, we have Natasha's address. Under her address, we have the date. 22nd October. On the top left here, we have Professor Burns' address. So, did she send the letter to his house? No, she sent the letter to the place where he works in. So, he works in, excellent, in the University of the North, the Department of Archaeology and Ancient History. The town where he lives in is in Newcastle, okay? So she started with Dear Professor Barnes, okay? So here, notice she used the title of Professor Burns, okay? Why? Because it is a formal letter, you have to use title, okay? To know why did she send this letter to Professor Burns, let's start listening to these two paragraphs.
After the Arts Day, 314 Ocean Avenue, apartment 109, Bay City 99671, the 22nd of October. Professor D. Barnes, Department of Archaeology and Ancient History, University of the North, Newcastle. Dear Professor Barnes, I am writing to thank you very much for allowing us to reproduce the photographs of your ancient British treasure trove on our festival DVD. As these artifacts have never been publicly displayed, we are most grateful to you for allowing us to include these unique images. Your contribution has made our DVD of special interest to many people. We have just held an Arts Day in the college, during which the DVD was launched. One of the exhibitions set up for the day was a photographic gallery with pictures taken by Lucy Duval. The collection included some of the objects you showed during your talk on art and archaeology, and these are on the DVD. I am sending you the festival DVD with this letter, and I hope you will agree that Lucy's photographs enhance the fine quality and beauty of the objects themselves.
Okay, so after listening to these two paragraphs, who can again give us the address of Natasha? Natasha's address is excellent. Here is the address of Natasha. 314 Ocean Avenue, apartment number 109, and she lives in Bay City town. Okay, the date of this letter, 22nd October. What about the place where Professor Burns works in? He works in the Department of Archaeology and Ancient History, University of the North. Okay? Now, she started this letter by greeting Professor Burns. Dear Professor Burns, I'm writing to thank you. So the main reason for writing this letter, excellent, to thank Professor Burns very much. Why? Because he let or allowed them, okay, to reproduce the photographs of his ancient British treasure trove. What do you mean by ancient British treasure trove? These are artifacts from the past, okay? So if you remember when Professor Barnes gave a talk about arts and archaeology, he showed them some artifacts from the past, okay? So who was the photographer of the festival? Remind us, the photographer of the festival was excellent Lucy Duval. So when Lucy Duval took some photos of these artifacts, okay, they put these photos on the DVD, okay? So she thanked him for allowing them to reproduce these photos, okay? يعني هي بتتشكروا لأنه سمح لهم يصوروا هاي الارتيفاكتس ويحطوها في الدي في دي، okay? I'm writing again to thank you. We are grateful to you. Why? Because you allowed us. What do you mean by allow? Allow بمعنى let, okay? To reproduce the photographs, okay? Which photographs? The photographs that were taken by Lucy Duval about what? About the artifacts, okay? So Lucy Duval photographs or took photos of some artifacts that were shown by Professor Burns, okay? So these artifacts, okay, again, who can remind me, what do you mean by artifacts? Artifacts means an interesting object from the past, okay, have never publicly displayed, okay? So we are most grateful to you. Again, what do you mean by grateful? Grateful means thankful. We are thankful to you. We are grateful to you for allowing or letting us include these unique images, okay? Again, the main reason for writing this letter, Natasha Sims wanted to thank Professor Barnes. Why? Because he allowed them, let them to reproduce the photographs of some artifacts, okay? Your contribution, your help, okay? Your participation. So what do you mean by contribution? مساهمتك, okay? So it is your help to make something successful. You helped us to make the festival or the DVD successful, has made the DVD a special interest to many people. Okay, so in the first paragraph, we knew that the main reason for writing this formal letter to thank Professor Barnes. What did he do? He allowed the students to reproduce some photographs, to take some photos of some artifacts that were shown by him during the festival. Okay, these artifacts or these photos has made the DVD special interest to many people. So a large number of people want to have this DVD. Why? To watch or to see these artifacts. The second paragraph, we have just held an art day in the college during which the DVD was launched. Who can give us the pronoun which refers to? Let's reread this line. We have just held an art day in the college during which the DVD was launched, which refers to Excellent the Arts Day. So as I told you in Unit 1, they launched the DVD in a special art day. One of the exhibitions means objects that are shown, okay, معروضات, set up for the day was a photographic gallery with pictures taken by Lucy Duval. Again, who can remind us what was the role of Lucy Duval in the festival? She was excellent. She was the photographer. She was the students who took photos of some artifacts and other things that were shown in the festival. Okay, so they showed these artifacts in the gallery. What do you mean by gallery? Who can remind us? What do you mean by gallery? Gallery means a place where art, okay, or where some objects are shown to the public. Okay, the collection included some of the objects you showed during your talk on art and archaeology. Again, I want to remind you, Professor Barnes, okay, gave a talk about art and archaeology. يعني هو عمل خطاب في المهرجان عن الart and archaeology. Okay, while he was talking, he showed them some objects from the past. Who took photos of these objects? Lucy Duval, and they put them. These photos were put on the gallery, okay? And these are on the DVD too. So all of these photos about these artifacts were in the DVD. I am sending you the festival DVD with this letter. So what did Natasha send to Professor Byrne? She sent a DVD, okay, with this letter, and I hope you will agree that Lucy photographs enhance. What do you mean by enhance? Enhance means develop the fine quality and beauty of the objects themselves. So her way of taking these photos enhance بمعنى develop طورت the fine quality of the objects themselves. Okay, so if I ask you, the pronoun themselves refers to what? Again, Lucy photographs enhance the fine quality and the beauty of the object themselves. Themselves refers to excellent the object. Okay, so if I ask you, write down the main reason for writing the letter. Start with the first paragraph and give us the main reason for writing this letter. Natasha wrote this letter to Excellent to thank Professor Barnes very much for allowing or letting them to reproduce the photographs of his ancient British treasure trove. So this is the answer for the first question. Number 2, what does the pronoun themselves refers to? The objects themselves. So themselves refers to excellent the objects. Okay, so this pronoun refers to the objects. Write down the role of Professor Burns in the festival. I reminded you that he gave what? He gave a talk on art and archaeology. So what was his role? شو كان دوره في المهرجان؟ إنه عمل خطاب عن موضوع الart and archaeology. Okay, and he showed them some artifacts. عرض لهم بعض المعروضات اللي لوسي صورتها وحطوها في الDVD. Okay, so his role was he gave a talk on art and archaeology. Any question? Did you understand these two paragraphs? So again, the sender of this letter is Natasha Sims. The recipient of this letter is Professor Barnes. Why did she send the letter? To thank him very much. Why? Because he allowed them to reproduce the photographs of his ancient British treasure trove. What do you mean by ancient British treasure trove? These are artifacts from the past. معروضات من الماضي. Okay, so these artifacts, okay, has made the DVD a special interest to many people. A large number of people wanted to buy the DVD in order to watch these artifacts. Who took photos of all these artifacts? مين اللي صور هاي الارتيفاكتس؟ Lucy Duval. Okay, they put these photos in the gallery. Okay, what do you mean by gallery? Gallery means a place where works of art are shown. Okay, so these photographs that were taken by Lucy Duval enhance the quality and the beauty of the objects themselves. So Lucy Duval was a professional photographer. Okay, now I want to show you some photographs of the ancient treasure trove. That these photographs were taken by Lucy Duval. This what do we call artifacts, a large collection of treasure, a large collection of valuable treasure that were taken by Lucy Duval. Again, what do you mean by artifacts? It is they are interesting objects from the past. Okay, so if I ask you who took these photos, okay, of the artifacts that were shown by Professor Burns, who took these photos? She was Lucy Duval. Okay, so the one who took these photos was Lucy Duval. Okay, so I will stop here today. I hope you did understand the point that I mentioned about this formal letter. Your task to prepare the following paragraphs that you have in your student book, page 18. Okay, so please prepare the second part of the formal letter, and thank you for listening to my lesson today.